guys are to do this, I will fuck your worlds. For real.
All right, everybody, welcome out to Death Battle Live. Are you guys ready? Are you excited? It's time.
I'm ready.
The second ever Death Battle Live. Hi, everybody, I'm Craig. Joining me to my right, you guys introduce yourself, tell everybody what you do.
Hey, I'm Chad. I play Boomstick in Death Battle. What's up?
I'm Ben. I play Wiz in Death Battle. I'm also the editor and writer.
And I'm Torrian.
You have to use a microphone.
You have to use the microphone, Torrian.
I'm Torrian and I animate Death Battle.
3D animation.
Yes, I do 3D animation for
including what's going to be coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
Because tonight's fight is 3D.
Yes.
Which is good. Actually, you know what's funny? This is the second time we've done Death Battle Live.
Third, technically, if you count SGC.
Yeah. True.
Second time outside.
Yes, actually in this setting though. And this is actually the second time in this setting that Torrian has been on it.
Yeah.
And because the first one, Torrian literally just started.
Yeah, he just got here, like, get on camera.
Like a week or two.
Time to see if you're funny.
We found out he's all right.
I'm
He's like a 7.8.
I was in that preview.
IGN.
Yeah, you did really well.
I'm good enough to be in
Too much water.
Preview.
Yeah.
All right, so tonight we got a bunch of good stuff coming up for you guys. Obviously, we're going to be debuting the brand new Wolverine versus Raiden fight very shortly. You guys will be the first in the world to ever see it. But before we do, we thought we'd kind of give you guys a little background on this fight, what makes it special, and how we kind of came to this whole idea of, well, you guys came to the idea of Wolverine versus Raiden because
Wolverine versus Raiden.
Because there was 5 really requested. Wolverine is always requested.
Well, we've been looking at what to do with Wolverine since Death Battle began.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Did you miss something?
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Something
How
very,
can they
very
participate
important.
with us, Craig?
Yes, very important that's on the screen. You'll notice over on this side over here, the screen is scrolling. If you want to get a hold of us, this is what we're looking at. Hashtag Death Battle Live on Twitter. Go and get on that. That's what I'm pulling all my questions from. If you guys have any feedback or anything throughout the show, I'm looking at it. It's literally live updating as I go.
Yeah.
We have 58 new updates, so you got to make sure your stuff's awesome as we get going. So hashtag Death Battle Live on Twitter. That is the best way to get a hold of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
so ask your questions, and we're going to answer some later. And also, hey, you might get scrolled by really fast on screen.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. So yes, back to what we were talking about.
Yes.
A lot of requests for Wolverine.
Yes.
Well, since the beginning, since Death Battle started, Wolverine was always, on the plate, on the big list of we got to bring Wolverine into Death Battle eventually. But of course, it's Wolverine. How are you going to put Wolverine in Death Battle when he doesn't die, right?
Yeah. Well, he's got incredible regen power.
He's got like one of the most broken healing factors in fictional history, and you will see why when we get to the actual episode. Is your mic falling apart?
Apparently, there's some static coming from my mic.
Okay.
It's not rubbing. It's not moving.
It's your chest hair, buddy. It's so attractive.
So manly.
I'm just so manly.
It's the static.
Continue.
Anyway, so over the course of Death Battle, this is episode 52. We've been doing this for a long time now.
Yes.
We're old. Do we qualify for senior citizen discount yet?
No, we're actually just hitting. We're just going into elementary school right now
in years.
Years.
internet years.
But if episode, it's like
internet
dog
years.
years, man, on the internet. Every episode's a year. Come on.
But there were 5 big matchups that kept being requested. Maybe 6 if you include Batman, but I wasn't sure whether or not to include Batman. There was like Wolverine versus Shredder from Ninja Turtles.
That'd be
Baraka.
Versus Baraka from Mortal Kombat versus Vega from Street Fighter versus Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Raiden was rounded up the top 5.
One of these things is not like the other.
Well, most of those, it's like, how is Shredder gonna
I'm
deal with Wolverine?
Right, or I'm a huge Street Fighter fan, but if you put Vega up against Wolverine,
I get it. They got claws.
It's not gonna be beautiful for long.
It's not. I
That's
didn't
about
understand
it.
that either.
I mean, I guess Shredder's got the whole ninja thing
And,
going.
and he's got his little claws. Remember, he's got the little tiny palm claws. Shredder.
Yeah, Shredder. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
They
yeah.
both have claws.
Are they not like
Great.
the claws in the movie?
What are you talking about?
Because in the movie he has like.
In the movie, he's like a Michael
You
Bay
mean the
robot.
new movie
You know
where
what
he
I mean?
shoots out claws that shoot claws and that shoot claws out of those claws?
That'd be dope.
That's pretty much what happens in the movie, right?
Yeah.
I saw that came out on Netflix, and I looked at like the turtles again, and it's got them in the elevator, and I was like, somebody actually animated those things?
Yeah.
No.
No, forget Death Battle. We're just going to talk about the new Turtles movie and how Michael Bay destroyed it.
Well, let's actually get into this though. Let's actually bring it
The
back.
Ninja Turtles?
No, Ninja
No, why we chose Raiden?
Ninja Turtle
why,
Live.
why was Raiden? Because Raiden is a character that we've
Right.
seen in, what, 2-3 games, something like that. He's not hugely popular.
I mean, yeah, to a degree. Like, not on the scale, I
Yes,
guess.
in the
Yeah,
scale of
Wolverine's
Wolverine.
been around for, what, like 31 years
30,
now.
yep.
Raiden's been in like 3 games. So,
Torian. That's the reason.
basically what happened was we've been debating who to fight Wolverine forever, and eventually Torrian came in and was like, hey, I really like Raiden. I think this would be a really good fight, and here's why. And he basically laid out a bunch of things, like...
Because we wanted somebody who could actually compete.
Yeah,
Well,
that was my main thing. Like, I like Raiden. However, when I think of Death Battle, I think of people who actually have a chance of winning. You know,
Good matchup.
And then
Right,
yeah,
good matchup.
so
That's what
all
everybody wants to see.
like the top 5 matchups that we discussed, like those people, yes, they're similar, but Freddy Krueger versus really, like he only has he doesn't have claws. He has like a glove.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
close enough
mean,
to
that one's
claws.
actually kind of interesting since you go into the whole dream thing. But with Raiden, what was interesting to me is the fact that they're similar to an extent. Like they're both like
It's like a new school versus old school thing.
right. They're both like experimented on, and they use blades, and they're all kind of like dark and gritty and stuff. But
And they both had a childhood. There's someone in their lives that was female named Rose.
yeah,
There
that's
you
true.
go. That was reason enough. That was reason enough.
That's
There
the
you
bow
go.
on
But
top
there are
of it.
certain things
Print it.
about Raiden and Wolverine, which I mean you'll see in the actual episode, that set them apart so drastically that just looking at them as they are, you kind of think, well, who could actually win? Maybe this could go either way. But then of course the healing factor comes into play,
Yeah.
and who knows what's going to happen with that.
We'll see. We're not going to spoil anything for you guys.
No,
So.
Yeah.
we'll
Just
see
touching
for
a little
sure.
bit, just to why. Torian really
He
put up
was,
a
he was
case.
the, he was the
and-
driving force.
Yeah, and so, you know, we
So
were
if it
like, well,
sucks,
you know
you
what,
can
we'll
follow
research
Torian's
and we'll see what happens.
It sucks.
If you're
It
not,
sucks,
upset,
it's Torian's fault.
follow Torrian and just
Can we get those Twitter handles again, Brian, if you can
Yes,
pull that up?
let's see what Torian's
At
Twitter
animated
handle is.
Tori.
Just so you know, we actually do have a Twitter battle right now going on between Tori and Sean Bolin, our community manager. So if everybody wants to go follow Torian on Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's who can get more followers?
Yeah, so Torian, now's your chance
I
to
didn't even notice until he said something about it. Like I didn't even
Now's your chance. Now's your chance.
Yeah, and that's
pitch.
at animated Tori.
at animated Tory.
And what's Bolin's?
I don't remember.
That's
no, I'm just
something.
kidding.
at Sean Bolin.
Yes.
I mean, all I
SHAUN.
post is just like little vines of death battles that I'm working on. So that's
Hey,
beneficial.
all right.
Yeah, there
He
you
does post
go.
stuff about, he's animating
Yeah.
this stuff all the time. So
Toss it
he'll
out,
post,
bring him in.
You know, some videos, some
Yeah,
pictures
what's
of what
great
he's
is
doing.
he comes and checks with me now because a couple of times, like, I don't know if you guys caught it, but he put up this tweet a few weeks
Wolverine.
ago
Yeah.
before Wolverine was announced, and there's like all these clearly Death Battle 3D model characters like all fighting. Oh yeah, it was the Photoshop of you
Yeah,
and
it
the
was-
Photoshop
it was
of me, and,
Photoshop
like,
of him.
and then there's one that's
I don't have a lot of-
silhouetted, but he's got claw. It's
He's got the claws,
Wolverine.
he's got the pointy things, like it's
You know?
clearly Wolverine.
I don't have a lot of followers, so I
saw
didn't think
that.
it was gonna be like a big deal.
I
Bro,
saw that.
like,
I was on
what-
vacation at the time, and I was like, "Oh, that's clearly Wolverine."
I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that. He's like, well, he's silhouetted. I'm like, oh yeah, because nobody's gonna.
Yeah. One of the most iconic silhouettes ever.
So
Who
now
else could that be with Wolverine?
You want to
claws?
have Sonic and be like, "I don't know what
I'm
that
going
is."
to reel us back in because we're going to be debuting the new episode here in just a few minutes, so stick around a little bit longer. But let's actually talk about these characters as a whole because you guys have a lot of people. One of the biggest things you hear from people online is, well, you guys only have the characters you want to win. Are the characters you like.
The bias.
Right? So
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
are so
of course,
biased, right?
yeah.
But going into this, right, this is actually pretty interesting because I just want to talk about your personal connection to these characters really quick, like Wolverine.
So you
and
can see
Raiden.
if we actually are biased.
But,
or not.
We'll see what happens.
mean,
won't we?
Before we get into this, it should be noted we do have to say that Death Battle is not a show that is based on bias or a personal favoritism. What we do is we actually see through logic and math and science who would win in a fight.
Yes.
But I mean, obviously, we're still human beings. We still like certain characters and dislike certain characters. Wolverine was actually one of the first superheroes that I enjoyed to the point where when the movies came out, I actually knew what was going on in the movies. I didn't really follow or read a whole
Like
lot
all
of
little
superhero
subplots
comics.
and a little
Yeah.
nods. Like,
So,
okay, I understand.
When Fantastic Four came out, or when Spider-Man is Spider-Man. But you know, when heck Iron Man came out, I didn't really know much about Iron Man at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I knew.
Yeah,
he
I
was
didn't
in a
get introduced
cave
to
against
Iron Man.
whatever.
I didn't get introduced to Iron Man to the movies.
Yeah.
Like I didn't,
But
and then I went
Wolverine-
back.
Iron Man's like one of my
Yeah,
favorite
then I went
concepts.
back and watched like little cartoons and stuff.
Wolverine, of course, because the old '90s cartoon. Thank you. 90s cartoon.
Okay, wait, we might content.
Oh, dude, why
Alright.
didn't we start this episode with Raiden killing Morph? Profound regret. I just thought about that right now. That doesn't happen.
No,
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
maybe it
It
does
may
happen.
happen shortly.
No, it should have.
There's a thing that dies at the beginning. Maybe it's just more transformed.
All right, we'll find out. All right.
But yeah, so I've always been a Wolverine fan. He's been one of my favorite superheroes, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. That's kind of up in the air for me. But yeah, he's one of the few superheroes who I actually knew quite a bit about. And going into the movies, I was like, I hope they do this and this and this with them. So, what about you?
I mean, for me, like, so my like one, I have like 2 marks of like gamer shame. And it's like, you know, everybody's got like the big franchise or 2 that they didn't play that everyone else did, right? And so for me, that's Metal Gear and Final Fantasy. I know I'm gonna bring like a wave of hate. So like, I never was really into Metal Gear.
That's
at
okay.
all. Right. Well, no, I know, but
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. This is the internet.
this is the internet, sir.
Fuck you,
I'm
Chad
an
James.
asshole.
You're the
I'm
worst.
gonna jump in with
You're
you too.
the
Like,
worst.
I could never really get into Metal Gear, you know.
I'm
You did a series spoof of Metal Gear.
Hold on. I'm actually gonna join. I'm gonna
Surprise.
join you guys.
I
I'm
actually
gonna
was
take
not
the
really
hate
into-
too as well.
Go ahead.
I actually wasn't into Metal Gear either. Like until I saw Raiden in the trailer in 4. Like
So, okay, Torrian is like
I
the
didn't
easiest
touch-
gamer to win over ever.
I am.
If it just has like over-the-top flashy action, Torrian's like, it's the
he'll
best
like it.
game ever.
he break dances with robots tied to his feet. Like what? Why wouldn't you play that?
Let's
Raiden was always my favorite of the Metal Gear characters when I saw it, and
well, and the big thing was it Connect a few years ago where they had a Raiden.
you mean the thing that never happened?
that was like you can cut the
Oh,
sword.
yeah.
That was the move.
Precision cutting. Uh-oh, no
There
one's
was
gonna buy
something-
it.
Yeah, there was something about a Rising spinoff or whatever that
We're
was
gonna
gonna
take
be on the
that,
move.
repackage it.
Yeah.
It's Rising now. Like, yeah. Everything's good. But yeah, no, like, but that's the cool thing about Death Battle is that like we have to do like for some reason a lot of people assume that we instantly know everything about every character, and so like I will have people come up to me and be like, this person, who wins right now? Tell me.
Do
And
it.
I'm like, I don't
it.
know, dude. Like the show takes like weeks of research on each combatant, and then we
Get
we
that
get
a lot
to
at
we get to-
panels.
yeah, we get a lot of panels, but like, so we get to learn about it. So just because we may not be super familiar with somebody beforehand, we eventually are. Like the useless knowledge that we have of
my
like
God.
all of these characters, because we have
some
to do the
ridiculous
research
things
stuff,
we
and
know.
we don't put bias into anything that we do. So we have to learn, and we keep an open mind, and we always argue about like no matter what. If Ben tells me like a person will win Death Battle, I will like. F you, you're wrong.
He will take
and
the
then,
opposite
and I
position.
take the opposite side and argue into the ground with him. So like,
It's pretty fascinating to watch you guys because
yeah, we've argued over some stupid shit.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, and we talked about this last time with Death Battle Live, is that whenever you guys actually get into it, the entire office gets into it. Like even guys who don't even work on Death Battle, they feel the need to chime in and go crazy, and it's a total stop down. And so from my perspective, I hate it so much.
Because everybody's
I mean, well, even me, like, I'll come to Ben, like, throughout the fight, like, okay, like, are you sure? Like, this can happen? Like, okay, can I do this? And then we'll get into, like, small research clips or whatever, and he'll say, this will happen. I'm like, pull it up right now. Pull it up right now. Put it up on Google. Put X versus this.
That
and see what
happened
happens.
a
Like,
couple times with Raiden in
Yeah,
this one.
yeah,
you know,
'cause
where
I
we're
was-
like, can Raiden do this? Well, we gotta find
it.
proof that he
Find
could
it.
do this before we start animating that.
Yep.
You know.
All right, well let's keep moving on here because obviously these are 2 characters that a lot of people, you guys specifically, have a lot of love for, right?
Yeah.
And way too much knowledge of
Yes.
right now.
And speaking of knowledge, right? Every Death Battle, there's a lot of research where that gets put on the cutting room floor, and a lot of that's been slowly making its way into the Desk of Death Battle series.
A lot of
Right.
little facts that we find that you mean the ones that don't really
It's
need
like
to
the
be in the
random,
Death Battle.
yeah, the random crap.
Yeah.
So whenever we do a Death Battle Live, we were talking about this earlier, this would be something that'd be really fun to do, and we need to have some sort of fancy graphic for this, but when we'll work on this. But these are the 3 craziest things we learned during research for Death Battle Wolverine versus Raiden.
Okay.
All right, what do you guys got for the 3 craziest things you learned? I believe there was one involving Star Trek.
Yeah, so
Well, there was a crossover series. Marvel's done a lot of things with their characters, right? One of which includes a crossover comic, X-Men versus Star Trek, where literally the cast of Star Trek meets the X-Men. And for whatever...
Don't screw with Spock.
Yes, for whatever reason, the X-Men think that the Star Trek crew is invading, and Wolverine attacks Spock. And Spock one-shots him with the Vulcan pinch.
You one-shots him.
He one-shots him.
That happened.
This actually happens. Now, I saw this and I was like, oh my god, is this gonna mean something? I went and researched Spock just to make sure that this wasn't something crazy that could have, this is how far we go with Death Battle. You know, so maybe that'll come up in the Death Battle, maybe it won't, I'm not gonna say right here. But,
You'll
yeah,
probably
that's
see a Death Battle coming up on
Star
Spock
Trek versus Wolverine.
X-Men.
But what's even crazier is this happens and then Next Generation comes out and they do it again. It happened again with the Next Generation cast.
All right, so we saw ridiculous. Just the idea of saying Wolverine fought Spock is like is
Oh, he didn't fight Spock. He got whooped by Spock.
Then we
Live
obviously-
long and sleep, bitch.
We saw.
I'm back, bub.
I do want to remind you guys, once again, use the hashtag DeathBattleLive. You see it blowing up over here. Make sure you guys use that hashtag. I'm going to be taking your questions in just a few minutes, right before the fight starts. So get them in right now. I'm literally looking at it every second. We're not talking. Get on that. Okay.
I've got a crazy fact for Raiden for you.
Please fire away.
Yeah, so this is just more of like, man, he has like enough emotional like plot twist drama to like warrant his own like telenova soap opera.
Metal Gear really does.
I mean, yeah, it's Kojima and he's crazy, or on a lot of drugs,
Raiden
or
is
a little bit
special.
of both. But yeah, so like the like intricate plot between Raiden and Rose is just crazy, which is essentially like, all right, so he and Rose are like hitting it off and like things are going well. They start dating and whatever. And then it's like, all right, I'm gonna go team up with some people and like help save the world. But then, oh, guess what? Turns out Rose was actually like, she was the spy for the Patriots and she was manipulating him the entire time. And he's like, yeah, oh. Now, that would just be one twist in itself, but like, Kojima puts like M. Night Shyamalan to shame because he's like, I'll show you twists wrapped in twists. And it's like, but at the time that she was pretending to love him, she actually fell in love with him. So then, later, when the Patriots reemerge and they're like, she's like, oh no, the Patriots have reemerged. They're probably gonna use me to get to Raiden, but since I love him now, I'm going to
I'm pregnant.
Also, I'm pregnant. I'm going to break it off with him and then say I had a miscarriage.
Happening here?
Right?
Like, what
so
is-
that and then I'm going to go marry this other guy for the Patriots, all so that they don't use me to get to Raiden. In the end, you know what? Whatever.
Because
Like-
she does not tell Raiden this.
Yes. And so he's like heartbroken. He's like, man, she screwed me over again. And it's like, no, in the end, it was
Horribly.
all for you.
And to
he's
feel
cool with it, of
better,
course.
he got
Yeah,
a
of
cool
course, it's fine.
cyborg body out the deal. He wins.
Raiden has been through an emotional roller coaster of ridiculous.
Nothing a
proportions.
cyborg body can fix.
But so Metal Gear, obviously, there's the peaks and valleys.
Can't
and
replace
just
the cyborg heart.
I don't even think he has the heart. Actually, literally, Raiden, all that's left of Raiden is the upper chin up. That's why he's got like a weird
Jaw?
cyborg jaw.
You know-
Everything from here down is robot.
I saw a guy. I'll tell you what. I saw a guy at PAX cosplaying as Raiden, and actually, you can watch the video on our channel. It was the best Raiden costume I've ever seen. First off,
Yeah, I've seen it. It was cool.
And he had metal go right up here, so whenever he talks, he's like, "Yeah, I'm Raiden." Yeah. It was-
That's dedication.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. All right, so we got we got two things. We got Wolverine fought Spock. We got the ridiculous Metal Gear story, just mindfuck. And the third one, something about Wolverine.
Okay, this is something about Wolverine. Actually, I think it's important to cover this for the death battle itself. Marvel has a bunch of alternate universe Wolverines, right? One of which is the Ultimate Universe.
I don't think it's a good idea where you go, right? Like, as in, like, huh? Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
it's
Sometimes
like,
they do.
You know.
You're
Anyway,
confirming. I'm just
Marvel has
kidding.
a bunch of different universes, and one of them is the Ultimate Universe. And there is an Ultimate Wolverine. And this Wolverine is very different from the Wolverine that we have in this death battle.
I would not call him the ultimate Wolverine, even though
No,
he is the
actually,
ultimate Wolverine.
he's a much worse off Wolverine.
Yeah.
Unlike our Wolverine, the normal Wolverine, this Wolverine's adamantium skeleton isn't so indestructible. In fact, he gets pretty messed up by Hulk.
He gets ripped apart. He gets ripped in half.
Literally ripped in half by Hulk. and has to crawl back to his other half of his body and put himself back together.
It's like Olaf in Frozen. Have you seen that? And he's like, oh, there's my butt. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then another point.
I like Olaf.
He gets decapitated, but his head is still alive, even though he doesn't have lungs or anything like that. He's still alive.
How does
and
he
he's
breathe,
still
Ben?
talking. He's still alive and he's still talking. And Nick Fury is looking at his head and going like, "How are you still alive?" And Wolverine's like, "Oh, I'm using the pores in my face to breathe and to talk." It's like, how? What?
Oh wait, so that's why people put the bag over your head so the air can't, so you can't
Yes,
breathe out your
What
skin.
the hell, dude? Yeah, I'm not.
All right, okay, so
Stay away.
we've learned a
The
lot.
important thing to take away is the reason that can't happen to 616 Wolverine
Well,
is because, see, Hulk rips Wolverine apart because he rips him apart at the joints. But 616 apparently has interlinking.
Let's be quick. We gotta
Hulk
get the
tried to
questions.
do the same thing to 616, the regular Wolverine. It didn't work. It hasn't explained in the comics, but an author said in like a panel or something like that apparently Wolverine, in between his bones, there's like tiny adamantium chain links connecting his bones somehow, which keep them from being ripped apart. I don't know. It's really weird. It's such a BS.
So like, did he
excuse, but
have
whatever?
his bones were chains before, or the adamantium just
Like he had
made
little
chains?
chain, like
Yeah,
bones between his
I
chains.
imagine they
just
coated
made
them and then they
chains.
got like an intricate guy to be like, I'm gonna put all, because I mean otherwise you couldn't move.
The guy from Toy Story.
All right, I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
The old man from Toy Story.
Here
All right, let's
you
get to
go,
some questions.
Wolverine.
Before we have the debut of Wolverine versus Raiden, it's coming up in
Very soon.
just a few. Literally, I'm looking at the clock right
6
now. Just a few minutes. Okay, we got some questions. Once again, use the hashtag DeathBattleLive. You see it flying by on the left-hand side. Go crazy. All right, this one's from Jason Finale.
Jason?
What fight caused the most internal arguing?
Link versus
Still
Cloud.
Link versus Cloud,
Link
or
versus
has
Cloud,
another
easily.
fight been unseated?
Easily Link versus Cloud.
Link versus Cloud. I don't think there's any more argument. DK Knuckles got pretty close.
I don't know if
we
DK
really-
Knuckles didn't have internal arguing. DK Knuckles had a turnaround like
DK
really
Knuckles,
late into
yeah,
production.
DK Knuckles had a lot more back and forth on who would win,
Yeah.
but well, Link versus Cloud is seriously hands down. Like,
Link versus Cloud
the
was
most-
literally, we spent hours deducing one thing, and then the next day, everything that we
what's-
had figured out was actually wrong.
You know what's
it was
bad?
crazy.
Like, you know how people can be like, I can picture exactly where I was at like a moment of trauma. I can be like, I can picture exactly where I was when we debated Link versus Cloud for the 5th time. Like, we were sitting down in the office. I remember.
And that's
Breathe,
one where
breathe,
we got,
breathe,
and that's
breathe.
where
okay.
we got, for your sake, everyone in the office involved.
Yes,
Yes.
it was great. All right.
And we thought we were done, and then you
This is
texted
from
me.
@Lord of the Suplex, who I would never.
Yeah, I like that name.
What are the suit? That's like the coolest name.
Here's a question: who controls the music selection? Ben and Chad, or the animators, or both?
Ooh.
Ben and Torrian, or if it's a Nick death battle, then Nick and
Yeah, I mean, it really
And our
comes
animators.
down to the animator and the editor. But actually, sometimes we'll have to get some original music made, like in this episode. We'll talk about that when we come back, but keep an eye out during the fight for some original music from the guy who actually did original music for Goku vs. Superman 2.
Give him a shout out right now. Do it.
Brandon Yates. Thank you,
Yes. Thank
Awesome.
you, dude. Really cool guy.
Cool. All right, we have from George McGinnis, Pandemonium. Oh, Pandemonium. One spell. Well, no, it's
Pandemonium.
Panda.
No,
Monium.
it's actually Panda and then Monium.
Yeah.
So there.
Oh, okay.
Pandemonium
the
wants
best
to know, hey, what are some awesome death battle ideas you wanted to do but couldn't?
No one's. I still want to do my joke death battle. I want Macho Man Randy Savage versus the Kool-Aid Man. I'm just saying.
wanna do that
It's a
one.
battle of the old
that would be cool.
Right?
That would be cool.
You don't understand how much we thought about this. Like,
Oh, no.
I found out already whether or not it's the liquid that is his essence or the glass. Like, I really like. Anyway.
Wait, no, it's the,
Didn't we figure
it's the
out a
glass,
winner?
right?
It is the glass because he can interchange his liquid the way he does
Yeah,
for suits.
yeah.
Because I wanted to know that if Macho Man drank him.
No, because I've
if-
seen him break and he was still alive.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
I know.
it's
Right, it'd be a
glass.
good death battle. I'm just saying. I want to do it. Nobody wants to.
Pandemonium, you ask these questions. And you get these answers. Just so you know.
Oh, that's so cool. How will we have to make the liquid though?
All right.
So that's the one.
Sure, we'll talk about that.
simulation.
later.
Okay, Matt Norton, Full Metal Naru, wants to know, will you guys ever use classic old-time characters like King Kong, Frankenstein, literary Dracula, characters like that? Classic
Oh, like
monster characters.
I mean, we've talked about doing like a horror death battle. We're always open to branching out. Ben has this really crazy idea that I won't say, but he really wants to do something that's like totally drastically different. Man, We've been back and forth on like the literary thing too.
It would have to be a newer version. Like I would love to do something with Dracula, but it would have to be like a newer incarnation of him. Like, like maybe something from Lords of Shadow.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I need a Dracula that can do like a lot of flips, like super flashy.
It
I
needs
just
to
don't
do
need
backflips.
sneaking up on
Three-point
bitches.
landings are that.
Yeah.
His 3-point landings are that he can stand up and just 3-point lands.
Just like 5 flips, lands, goes up his, and then turns into bat.
This is a requirement for Torrian.
And
He
he, like,
will not
flips.
animate a character if it cannot do a 3-point
he
landing.
turns into a dragon. Anyway. He turns into a dragon for like no reason. Like you don't even need to do it.
All right.
Maybe, but you might see something like that, especially if like we actually are like ahead of time and like really planning stuff out and be like, oh, it's Halloween, and not like, oh, you know what? That was the episode that went up on Halloween. We didn't even think about it. Like,
All right, I got one more question before we have the world debut of Wolverine versus Raiden. All right, this one, this is a really good question. This is from Silly Barra. How much effort do you guys put into simply finding out if two combatants are even in the same league in terms of power? Because I think this came into play.
that's like the first thing we do.
But how much effort?
Early
like,
research.
Yeah, like that plays a big role. And we got about 30 seconds to make.
Honestly, it doesn't take that long to find out if somebody's in the same league as somebody else. That's usually the easiest thing, because normally it goes like, we have a suggestion. Is it even close to viable? Like,
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing we do is we look up quick videos online of like what's their greatest feat. You know, look at
Isn't it
respect
more
thread real
so-
quick, see how they compare. Oh, maybe they
Isn't it
compare.
more so if either one will even have a chance of possibly killing the other?
No, well,
More
the first thing we do
so-
is see
It
if they're on the league,
depends.
like if they could actually compete, and then we go it's the in-depth research, and we've been surprised on a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we're like, oh, it's totally gonna be this person. They can at
Rainbow
least
Dash.
compete, and then you get into it, and you're like, oh my god, never mind. Here's the thing.
And
So-
again, it's impossible to set a standard way of figuring these kinds of things out for each matchup, because there are so many different characters we can pull from. All of them are so different. The matchup that we choose could be completely different from one that we choose the next time. So it really all comes down to the characters themselves and what we need to do to establish that.
All right. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready. I want everybody in the hashtag DeathBattleLive and everybody in the chat to do this along with me.
All right. Well, here's the thing.
Yep.
We're gonna get this thing going. Hashtag DeathBattleLive. I want to get your responses. I want to get your real-time responses, not only in the Twitter, but also I want to be reading them off after here. So we're gonna have time for that and your feedback on what you guys saw. That's coming up in just a second. But Chad, I know you're ready. You ready to do this? Boomstick, are you
ready.
around?
Here we go.
Boomstick,
Let's do it.
I have no idea what's about to happen.
It's time for a death battle! Roll it, Brian!
Enjoy.
Here it goes.